How's it going everyone, and welcome back to a brand new Battlefront 2 video. And in this video we are going to be discussing the big hero changes that are going to be coming to Battlefront 2, including some changes that will be here as soon as next week, as well as others that are soon going to follow, because over the past few days we have been given snippets of details regarding upcoming hero changes. And I've just kind of been lurking in the shadows the past few days, just, taking note of all these changes. So I've compiled them all up into this video and we're going to discuss them all today. And we're also going to touch on some other news, including a patch coming next week and Scarif details as well. Now, before we get into all of this, guys, I just want to extend out a big thank you for the support on the recent channel sponsored Displate. Over 50 of you guys used the link provided to help support the channel, and I do massively appreciate that. And if any of you watching this now wish to pick up some new Displates, the link will once again be in the description below, as this will be an ongoing sponsor on the channel. So yeah, just a massive thank you to all of you who went the extra mile to support this channel. It really does mean a lot. Now, before we dive into the specific hero changes, there is actually some pretty cool news that has come out recently, and I just quickly wanted to throw that in this video. Now, there will be a small patch coming next week which will feature some bug fixes and changes. This patch is also going to include the Vader nerf announced a couple days ago. We don't have a release date just yet, but we're going to find out exactly when it's coming next week. Because I don't know if you guys have noticed, but there is a few bugs lying around after the latest update, so hopefully they will be all sorted in the patch next week. And also, the last thing that I wanted to throw into this video before we move on to the hero changes is that community manager Ben Walk did come out and say that various things we've been requesting are getting worked on and will be getting revealed when the timing is right. So this is obviously beyond the things that have already been announced, so this actually bodes really well for Battlefront 2's future, as it does say two things. The first being that Battlefront 2 isn't going anywhere anytime soon, and the second thing is that all of those bits of content we have been asking for, it looks like some of it is in the pipeline to come into the game. Now, does this mean Ahsoka, Ventress, Coruscant? Who knows? But I wanted to bring it up in this video, even though this is technically a hero change video, but it was exciting, so I thought I'd throw it in here. But now anyway, let's get on to the main topic of this video, the hero changes. Now, sorry it took a few minutes to get to, but I just wanted to throw the other stuff in there, as like I said, it was some pretty cool news. But anyway, we know that Leia is getting a rework for her abilities, but we now know exactly what at least one of those abilities is going to be, as per this post on Twitter by Battlefront 2's hero designer. So the changes for Leia appear to be done, and they are now in the testing phase, and obviously, as you can see, it looks like Leia is going to have a thermal detonator ability when she is reworked. So I'd say there is a very high chance that this is going to replace her flashbang, which is a total garbage ability. So this alone would definitely help Leia, as given the way Battlefront 2 works, thermal detonators kick ass and flashbangs, especially Leia's, just suck. So this alone is going to be a really big boost for her. I just hope that her other two abilities get a drastic change as well, because Leia really needs it. Now, there is no time of release that we know of so far, as they still are in testing, so these changes could still be months away. But as long as they do it right, I think we can all agree that we don't care how long it takes. As long as they get it right, they can take their time. Now, moving on, and I actually seem to have had some sort of personal prayers answered by DICE, because Chewie's bowcaster, Iden's pulse cannon, and Boba Fett's concussion rocket are all getting reworked. So it seems like DICE really are not scared to drastically just overhaul some hero abilities lately. And I'm telling you, the hero designer over there at DICE is definitely going to be earning his money in the upcoming months. Now, as for what they're doing for Chewie's bowcaster, we don't know as of yet. All we know is it's being reworked, and if they are going to be doing this, then I don't think the changes are going to be small. We've seen Chewie's bowcaster in The Force Awakens have the capability to send stormtroopers flying 10-15 meters backwards. So I would love to see them do something with that, and I've been saying it for a long time that the way DICE have done bowcasters just hasn't been really that good. Now, I think Chewie's bowcaster in Battlefront 2015 actually wasn't that bad, but hopefully they change it back to just how it was in that game at the very least. Now, as for Iden's pulse cannon, I personally would rather they just scrap this ability and do something else. Now, it doesn't say that it is getting scrapped, it just says it's getting reworked. But if they are going to keep the pulse cannon, I would just like to see them just take it back to how the pulse cannons worked in Battlefront 2015, because they took a massive step backwards with pulse cannons in Battlefront 2. The charge up time is just too much and the scope thing is just overkill, so hopefully they just make it more basic and powerful, as it is a hero ability at the end of the day. And of course, finally, Boba's concussion rocket is getting reworked as well. Now, honestly, I just hope they get rid of this ability, to be honest, and replace it with some sort of cable ability like we see in Return of the Jedi when Boba tries to tie up Luke. So these 3 changes I am totally on board with, and I think all of them were definitely needed. Now moving on, and we know we are getting a Vader nerf, which from what it seems like will be coming next week, which is really good news. And as for the specifics of that nerf, we now actually know what is happening. So Vader's current damage reduction in his Force Choke is 75%. Now next week it is going to be nerfed to 20%, which is a pretty big nerf. Will this make Vader balanced? I don't know personally, but the nerf was definitely needed. There is no two ways about that. Now, this is just a tester nerf though, so they're going to be monitoring it closely to see if they need to make more adjustments. So when the nerf does come out, make sure you're nice and vocal on what you think about it. Now, it's also worth noting that there are a few issues with both BB-8 and BB-9E, and both of them will be getting looked into over the next month or so. Until we get details next week, we won't actually know specifically what is going to get changed, but rest assured the glitches and stuff we've been experiencing with the 2 new heroes are for sure on DICE's radar. There is one glitch specifically with BB-8's charge that if you cancel it mid-charge, it never refreshes again and you can't use the ability anymore. So that sort of stuff with any luck will actually be gone by next week. If not, it should be gone later in the month. Now moving on, it also looks like Battlefront 2's hero designer is going to be looking at some changes to the camera angles with BB-8's charge ability. Now the way that this is intended is for it to be oriented to the camera and not the body. Now this seems like a small thing, but if this actually gets followed through, then this is going to be big news for heroes such as Darth Maul, Rey and Han Solo, as well as BB-8. Too often in the middle of a lightsaber fight, you activate one of these, rush style abilities, and the camera just sort of spazzes out and you go off in all sorts of directions and you send yourselves off platforms. So this should really help eliminate that. So if these trials with BB-8's rush work out well, then it could really change up how these abilities work on heroes in the future. And you can actually see on this post that the hero designer made regarding this, a lot of people actually brought up Darth Maul specifically as a problem with this. So I do know for a fact that I'm not the only one who really hopes this whole camera orientation thing works out, because it can be pretty annoying. But now that we have the hero changes out of the way, there is actually a few other things that I want to cram into this video, and some of these are actually a pretty big deal. So even though I wanted to focus this video on purely hero changes specifically, I couldn't leave this stuff out. So someone out on Reddit made a post regarding Death Troopers with the blaster they actually used in Rogue One, the E11D, saying if modders can do this, why can't DICE? I really hope they update Death Troopers in the next update, to which Ben replies with this little face. Now, at face value, this might not seem like anything to look at for a lot of people, but Ben does mess around with us when it comes to this kind of stuff. It's obviously not confirmation because he can't confirm it, but given Ben's track record, it's definitely worth keeping an eye out for some Death Trooper changes. Like I said, given Ben's track record, this is definitely not something to be overlooked. And especially considering Scarif is just around the corner and Death Troopers are mainly where we saw Scarif in the movie, and not to mention Scarif is when they were actually added into Battlefront 2015, so I think all fingers are leading to perhaps the new blaster coming in March alongside Scarif. I mean, it just all falls together way too conveniently for this to be nothing. But of course, it's obviously not confirmation, take it with a grain of salt. Now lastly, the final thing that I want to talk about in this video is new blasters. They've been a talking point over the past year and a half for Battlefront 2, and that's putting it very mildly. The infantry gameplay has gotten very stale due to the lack of blasters, but Ben did get questioned about this over on Reddit. Someone said, is there a way for infantry weapons to get on this priority list anywhere? To which Ben replied with, they are on the list. So we have had hints that new weapons could be coming for some time now, but it is nice knowing that they are actually a priority for DICE. The infantry gameplay in Battlefront 2, like I said, it's gotten pretty boring. Everyone just wants to get the battle points and use a hero or a reinforcement or whatever. Pretty much just so they can do anything except play as the regular infantry classes, as it is just plain old boring. But if they do add some new blasters, which given this Reddit post, it seems like that is the way it's looking, it's going to make it much more interesting for certain, and they have a ton of options for new blasters as well, as a lot that was in Battlefront 2015 never actually made it to Battlefront 2. So this definitely has me keeping one eye open for potential new weapons for sure. So guys, there was a lot of news and changes that I threw at you throughout this video, but I have to say that everything we spoke about today, it all looks like really good news and really good changes. Lots of big hero changes that are well overdue, and of course the other snippets of news that we covered in this video as well. I think that the Leia, Chewie, Boba and Iden changes are going to really help boost these 4 heroes and improve the hero roster massively. Because let's be real, there is a fair gap in quality with Battlefront 2's heroes right now. Rarely are people going to pick a hero like Leia or Chewie over a hero like Luke or Anakin. But with some of these changes, it really might help narrow that gap. So I mean, count me in as excited for these hero changes, but what do you guys think about all of these hero changes and of course the other news we covered in this video? Be sure to go ahead and let me know down in the comments below. And be sure to drop a like if you did enjoy this video, and if you are new around here then be sure to subscribe to the channel for more, and a big thank you for 70,000 subscribers. And don't forget guys, if you do want to support this channel then be sure to follow the link in the description to pick yourself up some Star Wars canvases off Displate. But that is just about going to do it for this video, so thank you all for watching and I'll talk to you all again in the next one.